problem. John, will you announce your presence, please?
I am present.
Thank you. Dave Turner?
Dave Turner is present.
Thank you. Paul Christensen?
Present.
Dave Saladino?
I'm here.
Thank you.
Is this better?
Next up on the agenda is for Emily to provide a Zoom.
Yeah, Jill, it still sounds like we're having a little trouble hearing you.
She may just want to disconnect and reconnect.
I kind of have to say, you hear me at all? No. I'm going to disconnect.
Jill, we can hear you. Your voice sounds low and deep, like the sound's being mutated in a way.
Jill, if you can hear me, yeah, okay. She looks like she's going to log back in. So while she's doing that, Emily, why don't you do your public announcement about the Zoom protocol, please?
Yep. Hi, everybody. So if you're an attendee, I'll promote you to panelist for the hearing. We don't have anybody calling in on the telephone. Channel 17 is recording this meeting. If you are watching live and you call in on the phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand. If you're an attendee member, you'll also use the raise hand button on your control panel to indicate that you would like to speak. You'll see a prompt to unmute now. When you see that prompt, please select it. Your control panel looks like this. Please use the chat feature if you're having any troubleshooting issues, and the raise hand if you would like to speak. In terms of optimizing your screen view, at the top right under your close out and minimize buttons, you can toggle between gallery view and speaker view. When I'm sharing the screen, you'll see the green bar. You can click view options and toggle between watching what I'm sharing on the screen and the DRB videos. If the video quality of what I'm sharing as a document is not coming through clearly, you can go to the town webpage, agendas and minutes, and all the documents we're sharing tonight are posted publicly there. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. So for tonight's meeting, we have one application. It's DP 09-01.18, Snyder Commercial Properties and Riley Properties. Before we get into that application, I'd like to start, which is customary, with a public forum. Is there anyone that is present that would like to speak to the board on a topic that's not on the agenda for tonight? All right, hearing none. Let's go right into the only item on the agenda tonight, DP 09-01.18. Looking at the attendees that are in queue, it looks like it's Andy Rowe and Chris Snyder. Emily, are you going to promote them to panelists?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, looks like you've been promoted. You got a promotion, Chris and Andy. Are you live?
I am.
Okay.
Well, I think so.
Yes, you
We
are.
can hear you.
Yeah. Andy, are you on as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Welcome. If you would both introduce yourselves for the record and an address for the record as well, please.
I'll start. Chris Snyder, Snyder Finney Crossing Commercial Properties, located at 4076 Shelburne Road, Shelburne 05482.
Andy Rowe, Limmer, Rowe and Dickinson, 14 Morris Drive, Essex.
Great. Thank you. As customary, I'll turn it over to staff to give us an overview in staff notes, please.
Thanks, Pete. This is a request for a discretionary permit to amend Building A3 to include 2 additional studio 1-bedroom dwelling units, a larger trash recycling building, and public art at 664 Zephyr Road. This building is currently under construction. This is the first time the DRB is reviewing this request. Recent approvals relevant to this application include a lengthy list. What this project history includes is a summary of the growth management allocation, the unit count. This building was originally approved in 2017 with buildings A1, A2. We're looking at A3 within Finney Crossing. Tonight, the DRB's review is limited in scope to only the proposed amendments. Findings of fact: there's no change of use proposed. Multifamily residential is allowed. The applicant proposes an addition to the trash recycling building to accommodate compost collection. Building A3 was originally permitted before food scrap separation was required by the state, so they're building this addition. The structure will still comply to setback and height requirements. It's located on the western side of Building A3 and will not conflict with pedestrian access. The applicant submitted revised elevations to depict the correct roof line on April 8th. Residential density. The applicant proposes the addition of 1 dwelling unit equivalent in the form of 2 studio/1-bedroom units. This increases the total unit count from 63 to 65 units. What follows is a table that summarizes the allowed density in the Taft Corners zoning district, as well as the density calculation for this parcel. There's that difference between a dwelling unit equivalent and the actual number of dwelling units, so please note that in the table as well. Overall, the increase of 1 dwelling unit equivalent still complies with the allowed density for this district of approximately 7.88 dwelling unit equivalents per acre across 69.5 acres. And this property does have a transfer of development rights. Growth management. No additional growth management allocation is required. Finney Crossing has allocation for 552 dwelling unit equivalents as of the growth management hearing of March 22nd, 2016. What follows is a calculation of the density and that there is, or the allocation, and that there are 4 remaining units of allocation. Parking. The proposed changes comply with Chapter 14 parking requirements, which is 1.75 spaces per unit, and then short-term and long-term bicycle parking. The layout of the garage yielded 5 more spaces than planned, as well as bike storage rooms. No changes to surface parking or short-term parking are proposed. Public art. Public art is proposed along the north facade of the building, where the foundation is exposed due to site slope. Several artistic steel panels, 48-inch squares, will be installed that have unique plant, flower, and seed head designs. The panels will be mounted approximately 1 to 2 inches off the wall. The DRB's scope of review is limited to enforce the distinction between art and signs and ensure that proposed art does not constitute a hazard to drivers, cyclists, or pedestrians. The HAC reviewed the proposed panels and agrees that they are indeed art and not signs because no corporate logos or messaging are included. They did, however, recommend that the panel edges and corners be ground down to remove any sharp edges because they will be located along a sidewalk. This project is subject to design review, which the HAC reviewed. Their recommendations mainly were beveling the edges, lining up a vent with, or a window with the personnel door on the compost building, which is shown on the revised elevation. And they also recommended landscaping along the portion of the building that fronts on Zephyr Road. That's shown in the original final plans. Comment, Public Works had a memo requesting a confirmation of sewer allocation. Fire department did not have any comments. The police department did not respond. No public comment letters or emails were received at the time of mail out, nor have I received any since the mail out. Staff is recommending approval with findings of fact, conclusions of law as provided below. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emily. I'll turn it over to Andy and Chris, and with a suggestion, given the simplicity of this application, that you focus on anything that you really have that that you feel you need to speak to, or a condition that you can't live with.
I think that I have reviewed the staff notes. One easy clarification, the 2 studio units were just spaces that were going to be storage areas that became units or were large enough to become studio units, and they weren't sort of planned to be that size. The trash building was previously approved with the 2 bays. The only request is for the compost bay, which is the easternmost portion of the building. And then the art is really a result of Scott and I looking at concrete wall along Stillwater Lane and realizing that because the sidewalk comes immediately up to probably about 50 to 60% of that length of the road, the sidewalk goes right up to the building. And so we felt, and because we don't have any grade ability to change or landscaping ability to change that we wanted to do something to improve the aesthetic of the concrete wall. And so we did go out for 2 proposals, one from Cape Pond and also one from Conant Metal and Light. And we chose the Conant Metal and Light proposal. And that's what we're showing here.
Okay, very good. So composting, new laws are in place relative to composting. Those laws were not in place when you had proposed that trash and recycle structure, and so this is really just kind of catching up with current law, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. And the public art is something that you're doing to increase the curb appeal of the building, and is that fair?
That's correct.
Okay. Okay. Do you have, Chris or Andy, do you have anything else to add as follow-up to Emily's staff notes?
I've got nothing.
Nothing else to add, no.
Okay. And you've read the proposed conditions?
Yes.
And you're okay with you don't have any objection to any of them?
No.
Okay. So at this point, I'll turn it over for any discussion or questions from the board.
The only question I have is, will the public art be used as the public art for the Finney Crossing as a whole, or for just that building?
It's really being proposed as a as Pete said, to improve the curb appeal. It's not being utilized as one of the 5 and 9 criteria for the Taft Corner zoning district. There's already enough of those design elements that have been satisfied with other components of the Finney Crossing project. So this is really just, as Pete said, improving the curb appeal, mitigating the appearance of that concrete on the lower portion of the building along Stillwater Lane.
Okay.
Wouldn't it have been cheaper just to have had a sign there saying the space reserved for Banksy?
There would have been cheaper options, but we decided to leave it with the art.
Okay.
All right, sorry guys, the mute button sneaks up on you. Are those? First off, I like the Corten steel panels. I think those are nice. Are all of them unique? Is each of them a different design, or is there a kind of a repeating pattern?
They are planned to be different designs.
Excellent. And you show like 20 of them on the elevation. Is the location part of the design, or are you just kind of guessing?
They proposed the location, the artist did, about spacing and how it would be organized along the wall in terms of verticality and left and right.
Great. That's really nice. The other question I had had to do with the 2 additional units that you said are replacing kind of storage areas in the building. Were
Yes.
there windows planned for those storage rooms, or have you added windows to the elevation?
They were planned. They had windows in them.
Okay, that was very, very fortunate for you.
Yes.
That's all the questions I had.
Okay, thank you, John. Are there any other questions from the board?
Pete, I'm thinking that Jill may have some. Is that?
She's shaking her head no. So
I'm good.
She could write them down, I suppose, if she had one.
if Jill, if you have any questions, you can chat them to Emily. We're having difficulty with your audio. Can you give me a thumbs down if that means no questions?
Jill said no questions.
Okay, great. Great. Okay.
Chris, the graphics that were included in the packet, are those just to kind of give the flavor of what the installation will look like?
That's correct.
Okay, these aren't the things that will be reproduced exactly on the panels, right?
I would assume that some of them there'll be some photos from that book of that they're using as the model or templates, but then they'll do lots of different photos, is my understanding.
And the finished appearance will be like the rusted steel look, or will they be colored?
It's Corten steel and sealed as Corten steel. One of our biggest concerns working through this with them was if it was going to leave a residue on the building or on the ground. And so we've worked through, they're buying some that's been oxidized, and we're hoping that the sealer they're going to put on will eliminate the what you tend to see out of Corten steel dropping onto the ground or onto the building.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. I think it'll look cool.
Yeah. How long before we get to see those?
They are waiting to hear from us to, tomorrow to release them to go start making them.
Mm-hmm. So is it like another 6 months or a year or something? Or less?
No, I think we're supposed to open the building on July 1, and the hope is to have it in place by July 1.
Wow. Good luck.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board? Okay, I don't see anybody as an attendee other than Channel 17, so I'm going to take that as no questions from the audience. One last opportunity to weigh in from the DRB. Anybody? Okay. Before I close, I would just like to close this hearing. I would just like to compliment the applicant on this public art. I think it's going to look great.
Thank you. It's new and something different and exciting. So we're excited to be showing it as well.
Great. Okay, with that, I'm going to close DP 09-01.18 at 7:26. There are no other applications on the agenda, so we're going to go into deliberation. Now, Emily, I do not have a link for the deliberative session. I think you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I got your email and I resent the link to you guys.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we should leave this meeting, correct? And then join the deliberative meeting link?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Meet everybody on the other link then.
See you guys on the other side.
Roger that. So we will proceed. Welcome back to the Williston Development Review Board for Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. The board has come out of the deliberative session. We're back in the public meeting, and I would accept a motion for DP 09-01.18.
As authorized by WDB 6.6.3, I, David Turner, move the Williston Development Review Board, having reviewed the applications submitted and all accompanying materials, including the recommendations of the town staff and the advisory boards required to comment on this application by the Williston Development Bylaw, and having heard and duly considered the testimony presented at the public hearing of April 28th, 2020, accept the findings of fact, conclusions of law proposed by staff for the review of DP 0901 Amendment Number 18, and approve the discretionary permit subject to conditions above. This approval authorizes the applicant to file final plans, obtain approval of these plans from staff, and then seek administrative permit for the proposed development, which must proceed in strict conformance with the plans on which this approval is based.
Thank you, Dave. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Jill seconds. Is there any further discussion?
No.
Hearing none, I'm going to go individual by individual for a roll vote. Dave Saladino, yay or nay?
Yay.
Jill, yay or nay?
Yay.
Dave Turner, yay or nay?
Yay.
Paul Christensen, yay or nay?
Yay.
And Pete Kelly is a yay. It's unanimous. Five yays, no nays. Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of April 14th, 2020?
One question on the comment letters, were the 9 comment letters, that was all of them, including the ones we got that last night in the minutes? Page 12 of 17.
Yeah, so that's the staff report. I think because the hearing got continued, the final minutes can reflect all of the comment memos.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that, we're not slighting anybody in that minute session.
Yeah. Thank you, Paul. That was a good comment. So Dave Saladino made a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Dave Turner seconds. Are there further comments or discussion from the board?
Bonnie, I think what we can do is just go into the minutes and amend that part of the staff report when we publish it. So it would be a minor amendment.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do.
Okay. So Dave Saladino, does your motion still stand with that friendly amendment?
It does, yes.
Okay. Dave Turner, your second still stand?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Nope.
Okay. Dave Saladino, yay or nay?
Yay.
Jill, yay or nay?
Yay.
Dave Turner, yay or nay?
Yay.
Paul, yay or nay?
Yay.
Okay, and I'm a yay. So unanimous yay. Motion, the minutes are approved. Is there any other business to bring forth tonight at the DRB?
No.
Hearing, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Dave Turner makes a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Dave Saladino seconds. Anybody opposed? I circumvent a little bit. Okay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Emily and Bonnie, good job as usual. This is a new environment, and I feel like we're getting some rhythm. So that's a good thing.